Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with some more Higurashi. Last time we finished up Ye's backstory. I mean, we were already done, but we kind of concluded it when Shion summoned Takumi's ghost, and then they had a nice, heartfelt conversation. So yes, ghosts are real in this arc. I was kind of memeing with Ghost Rika. I didn't know if that was actually a ghost or like, I don't know, some transcendent Rika, like just talking. But no, it's actually those. So I wonder if we're gonna like double back to Otabe's suicides group and see if we can talk to their ghosts. But first, Miyuki backstory incoming. This is just the backstory chapter, man. It's gonna be like 10 episodes just on backstory, and I'm all for it. Alright, let's get started. Miyuki-chan responded to Sonozaki-san's sharp gaze by shrugging her shoulders, then pulled something resembling a small black notebook from her breast pocket, flipping the cover over and turning it toward us. Oh my god, is that her detective badge? There was a gold badge inside a police badge. I swear Arakawa was the only one surprised by this. Think everyone did?
社交辞令どうも龍之介さん今まで隠していてごめんなさい私フリーライターじゃないんですうすうす感づいてはいたけど私は警視庁のマルボウ組織犯罪対策部の人間です
Metropolitan Police. Is that what Akasaka was a part of, or was he like a little higher up? I think he was actually part of the Metropolitan Police, though he wasn't anti-organized crime. He was something else, I think. Made sense.
警察関係者が来たってことを知らせたくなかったんで知り合いの出版社に名前を借りてこういう形で来ることになって嘘をついていてすみませんでした
Miyuki-chan went on to explain that she hadn't actually received approval from her superiors to conduct an investigation in Hinamizawa. Kinda thought that was the case. As a result, all her activities up to this point were technically done in her time off, which was another reason she had to conceal her identity when coming to Hinamizawa. I like how like we're just not gonna talk about the ghost at all. But now the situation necessitated the use of force, it was no longer possible to keep quiet about it. One sec, gotta respond to a text message. My grandmother hit her with a sounds good fraud emoji. No, I give a thumbs up. I usually fraud emoji people, but they wouldn't get it. I was taken aback after hearing such a peculiar expression. If that's the case, it explains all her strange behavior up until now. Her adept gun store handling, her occasional eagle-eyed glares, her speedy analysis of the corpse, those were all skills of her profession. I'm glad you realize now, at least, Akasaka. I mean, Arakawa... Sorry, their name sounds so familiar. Similar. Oh.
こんなところで園崎さんに会えるとは夢にも思いませんでしたけどね。それに園崎ミオンの正体もこの村へ来てさっぱりわからなくなってしまいました。
Did the police just not know that Shion exists? Sonozaki-san made no effort to respond to that inquiry and stifled a laugh. Honestly, I felt relieved to learn Miyuki-chan's real identity. First and foremost, it meant she wasn't a ghost of Hinamizawa, That's a positive, even though she literally rode from you from Tokyo, so I don't know how she'd be a ghost. Or with the Yakuza or a shady murder.
でもみゆきちゃん、どうしてこんな配送になんか。
For the vibes. No.
組長の園崎茜を都内の病院で暗
Okay.
殺しようとした
Also, interestingly enough, I wonder if she'll bring up Akasaka, because I thought she actually came to Hinamizawa because of Akasaka's work. On her I thought it was off duty, but I thought she was like kind of investigating what Akasaka was working on, but seems like she's actually like doing her job, so interesting.
この事件はそいつを捕まえるだけでは収まりそうにありませんからね。背後関係を洗っていて
It was a sniper?
組員たち
Wait.
がひなみ沢に向かったという情報が入ったんです。
Sorry, I just realized. I had my sights on the sniper who attempted to assassinate the group leader Akane near a hospital in Tokyo. Oh, okay, it was different. Because I remember in the hint they said Akane actually got like shot like almost point blank from behind, but I guess they had another assassin come who tried to kill her while she was in the hospital. God damn.
それでもしや園崎本家で何かあるのかもと思い。
Hello? It's off screen, but also so Shion's going for her own reasons and the factors found out. Okay.
なるほどね。そこまで調べはついてるってわけか。
So Nozaki-san let out a brief sigh. But it seems Miyuki-chan hadn't been totally lying when she came to me saying she wanted to investigate Hinamizawa. In fact, tomorrow, or I guess technically today, she was originally planning to conduct a full-fledged investigation with another team member who was coming here on an annual holiday. Excuse me? Oishi? Akasaka? So we might meet Akasaka or Oishi. That's or Kumadai, the trio. But she didn't intel on the Sonozaki group the day before her scheduled departure, so she adjusted her schedule and came here with me, thinking she might be lucky enough to find some evidence. But if that's the case, why lie and say she's a reporter? Didn't she just say she's hiding her identity and stuff? When I asked her that, Miyuki-chan shrugged her shoulders, then she stuck out her tongue and said, "You would have been upset if I told you I was with the police, right, Ryunosuke-san?" Well, that's true. If I knew that the person I was traveling with was a detective instead of a reporter, I probably would have declined the offer no matter how beautiful she was. Honestly, the way he's been thinking about Miyuki, kind of doubtful. And what's more, I mean, there were Yakuza members waiting for me instead of ghosts. Sorry, my mic was muted. I'll read it for you. And what's more, it meant there were Yakuza members waiting for me instead of ghosts. If she had told me this whole thing would have ended right at the start, it doesn't matter how ridiculously cute your face is, Miyuki-chan. It sounds bad, but she was only planning to do information gathering at first. There's no way she could have expected two sides to clash on the battlefield. But whether it was bold or reckless, considering her position, there's nothing I could say.
ちょっと待ってください。それじゃあミオンさんはヤクザの組長なんですか？
I guess it's natural that Shion would inherit it if Mion died in the explosion and Akane is dead. And I'm guessing Oryu has passed away by now. It would be crazy if she was somehow alive still.
そうじゃない。
Put her in a fucking cryo
まあ
chamber.
似たようなもんさね。
Sorry, Otobe, I guess you didn't knew.
でもどうしてこんな
It's her village. Well,
ヤクザの組長みたいな人が
she didn't really vibe in it, but you know.
反町は知ってるだろうが、うちの組は昔ここら一帯では相当な力を持っていてね。 ちゃんと話すと長くなるからかいつまんで言うけどさ。
Yay, Hinamizawa lore. Wait, we're getting Hinamizawa lore. I thought this was Miyuki lore. But maybe Miyuki lore is already done. And so Sonozaki-san began her story.
先代が死んだ時、私が次期当主として園崎家をまとめるはずだった。だがまだ若すぎるってことで、
Wow.
その役目は私じゃなく、
You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is, if Waryu died and Mion was still alive, they would totally give Mion the new head. I think she's, to be fair, Mion's actually like properly trained, while Shion was just fucking around mainly. But yeah.
そいつを面白く思わない奴がいてね。古くからの組の重鎮を中心とした一派が出て
The old heavyweights.
それじゃあ、そいつらがミオンさんを狙っていた黒服の連中ですか？
その通り。
So sorry, I was confused. Are they mad that Mion's gonna be or Shion's gonna become the head? Or are they mad that Shion didn't immediately become the head and Akane took over? I thought it was the latter, but I guess it's the former.
奴らは私が園崎本家を古式にのっとった正当な形で継承してないな。
Why would they be angry though? I guess because she's Shion, not Mion. And Shion's not supposed to rule. Just the name thing. But technically she's actually Mion if you know the Higurashi lore, so it's crazy out here. I thought back on the men in black who were here earlier and shivered. In fact, in that sense, they're even worse than ghosts.
だったらミオンさんが正当な形で継承すればいいわけですよね。
おいおい、そんな簡単なことじゃねえだろ。
そうでもないさ。園崎家の家宝さえ手に入れりゃ、
Oh.
私が古式にのっとっ
Oh.
た正当な継承者って認められることになる。
I was trying to say, is she talking about the tattoo? But obviously not if she's looking for it in Hinamizawa. And Ghost Rita's like, yo, I'll show you the way.
そのありかを知っているのは正式な
But she didn't
だ
know!
からね。
Because she's not the true successor. So Rita's spoiled. What are they talking about though? This isn't something we know, right?
それじゃ、園崎さんが西宮殿で探していたものが。
そうさ。神霊。
A small bell. Huh.
代々園崎家当主が物事の取り決めの決着。
This is new Sonozaki lore, actually. I don't remember a small bell at all in the conversations or hints. But why did she need the sword, a special sword, and a special scroll? I guess they were like to teach her where the precise location is. Oh, well, there you go. I looked at the scroll casually rolled out on the floor. So that's why she was reading that thing so intently. Yes, this special sword. Not to be confused with Rika's god-slaying sword. As she said that, Sonozaki-san held up her sword. This is just a katana. Yeah, I get the gist of it.
奴らは私に神霊を見つけられたくないだけでなく、この無人の廃村で私を叩き切り、一気に決着をつけるつもりなんだろうよ。
それじゃもしかして、俺たちの車がなくなった
I'd imagine.
あいつらの仕業?
My old theory was Miyuki, and because she just didn't want anyone to leave so she could investigate more, but it's probably more likely the Yakuza did it at this point.
多分ね。
Unless Miyuki pops in and is like, actually.
十和田に襲いかかったのも、私の味方だと勘違いしたからだろう。奴らはおそらく。
So Toada wasn't lying? At least it doesn't. Yeah, Toada hid the body and then she was just gonna leave. So, yeah.
全員?
悪いことをしている時に顔を見られたら殺す。
Well, they actually saw Arakawa actively in the shootout, so definitely Arakawa. Don't shoot my boy Otabe, man.
うちらの世界じゃよくあることだよ。
A common occurrence? Those words drove home how she's been living in a completely different world. It's easy enough to say, but what can we do? That said, we're out of options. I'm here together with the Yakuza and the police. All I can do is rely on them. That being the case, I'm better off sticking with the police. Not false.
心霊はその先本家に隠されていると記されてた。
Huh. Think it's in the underground spot?
私はこれから本家へ向かうよ。
Oh, kind of stuffed up. I would have muted, but there you go, some blowing nose ASMR. You're welcome. Oops. Send me.
私も一緒に行きます。
Can't everyone just go? I feel like it's a horrible idea to split off at this point when there's people armed with guns.
みゆきちゃんも。
ミオンさんを阻止するため、敵は必ず本家に現れる。
Why don't they just like take the bell? Or is that like I know they're trying to overthrow Mion, but maybe it's too sacrilege to fuck with the Gigo Bell, the ancient Sonozaki item.
本来なら沖宮の警察に向かって援軍を頼みたいところですが、そうも言っていられないでしょう。
I could see fierce resolve on Michi-chan's face. It seemed like she's willing to risk her life to secure evidence of these guys' wrongdoings. Of course, there's still the option of waiting for the investigation team that was supposed to accompany Michi-chan. But considering that battle earlier, there's a good chance that these guys had suspected the police's involvement, meaning they'd hide everything and pull out. And if that happened, the police would be letting a big fish out of their net, so she had no time to waste. Then Sonozaki had a huge grin on her face that she had figured out Michi-chan's intentions.
じゃじゃ馬だね。どうも。
I felt like I could feel Sonozaki-san's unyielding spirit through her smiling face. Perhaps Michi-chan's reckless behavior reminded Sonozaki-san of her past self.
荒川さんはどうしますか？
どうするって、お前。
If I went along with Michi-chan, what could I do? It'll be like the last shootout. You can just be, a decoy. Since we were all in the same boat, did that mean we had no other choice but to throw ourselves into the middle of a Yakuza conflict?
龍之介さんたちはどうします？ここにいた方が安全だと思います。
I don't think so.
いや、私たちがここにいるのは分かってるんだ。奴らは早晩人手を増やしてまたここへ来るだろうね。
Yeah, I agree with Shion.
素人だからって奴ら手加減はしないよ。
So in short, they'll kill us if we stay here.
ここは意表をついて敵の本陣をつく。敵は桶狭間にありってね。つまり、あんたたちも一緒に来た方がまだマシだと思う。って言っても、こっちもいろいろ守るもんがあるから、あんたたちのことをどこまで守ってやれるかわかんないけどさ。力は尽くすがこんな状況だ。命の保証はできないよ。
Otobe had been thinking it over for a while, but before long, he raised his head with a resolute look on his face.
僕は一緒に行きます。
Let's go! Otobe, more courageous than Arakawa? You'll love to see it.
乙部。
一度は捨てた命ですから。
He's gotten his resolve back.
一緒にいればまだ何かお二人の役に立てることがあるかもしれないし、いいですか？
Hold on, when did he start sounding so dependable?
荒川はどうする？
もちろん俺も行きますよ。
Can't be one up by Otobe, man.
みゆきちゃんに
It'd be
万が一のことがない
embarrassing.
俺が精神的に
Yo!
しっかり守ります。
Shooting his shot, you love to see it. Really though, given our recent history, I'll be the one needing protection. Miyuki-chan carefully looked me over with an expression that seemed to say, "Are you really okay with that?" She knows, dude. Well, she probably feeling guilty about getting me involved, but no matter what, I'm a man. I'm prepared for what's coming. Good for you, dude. What about Yae? What's Yae doing? She just chilling? Chilling with Takumi corpse? It was starting to get a little brighter outside the window. The sun was beginning to rise, and the birds had started to sing. So Nozaki-san tightly tied her hair behind her head. Yay? We didn't get a yay? Where's yay? With that one statement, we rose to our feet at once. Yeah, okay, there she is. However, Tawada-san didn't move. She continued absent-mindedly sitting next to Kurosawa's corpse. You reaching, Yae? Oh no, don't kill Yae, dude. She's gonna die, man.
十和田さん、さっきの話聞いたでしょ。ここにいたらヤクザに殺されちゃいますよ。
Tawada-san shook her head to cut him off, then looked up with tears in her eyes. No, it's not. But it'll be sick if she doesn't die, and when we're in a pinch, Yae just comes in with a fucking Gatling gun. Beep, 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 beep. Surely. I believe in you, Yae. Tawada-san shrugged her shoulders once more, probably thinking back on what Kurosawa said earlier. Her voice was muffled and the tears were still coming out.
でもミヨンさん。
あんたに扱えるとは思えないが、はったりくらいにはなるだろう。
Nice. Wait, dude, Ye's actually done a comeback with a handgun. I was kind of memeing, obviously, with the Gatling gun, and fucking start shooting shit up. Holy. Wait, did I read it? As she said that, Sonozaki-san gently handed her a handgun. Tawada-san deeply bowed her head, with huge tears still filling her eyes. Tawada-san turned her body back to Kurosawa's corpse again. Even though his lips weren't moving, she intently gazed at him as though she could hear him speaking. It seemed like she was trying to repent for her actions, but it also seemed like she was trying to quietly communicate once more with the love she had lost. Either way, it wasn't our place to interfere. True. You know, you never know with Arakawa. So we made our way out of the assembly hall, leaving Tawada-san behind. No, it's too early. It's too early. It's only 23 minutes. If they give me hints, maybe we can bump it to like a 30-minute episode. Or is this just going on? It's okay, I'll find a great cliffhanger to stop right before the action happens. Oh, it's daytime now. Cool. Can see the decrepit town in the day now. A cool breeze blew through the shrine grounds. The rain-soaked stones near the shrine gates shimmered in the sunlight. We followed Sonozaki-san down the stone steps and began walking along the country road.
大丈夫かな、十和田さん。
An image of Tawada-san floated across my mind, sitting alone in the assembly hall by Kurosawa's side. Sinking into the depths of grief, regret, and despair. I doubt there's even the tiniest sliver of hope in her mind right now. We left Tawada-san alone in that state. Doesn't it seem like we abandoned her?
十和田さんは死ぬつもりなんでしょうか。
Hope not, but I didn't see it.
さあね。 それは十和田が考えることだ。
僕たち本当にあの人を残してきてよかったんでしょうか。
Otobe seemed to be thinking the same thing, but Mian-san simply shrugged her shoulders and looked back at the assembly hall with a tender expression.
何が正しいのかなんて本人以外に分かりっこないさ。ただあの子は一生懸命生きて一生懸命愛した男を自分なりに考え抜いた末に殺しちまった。もし黒沢の最後の言葉を聞いていなければ、遅かれ早かれ隠し続けた絶望に潰されて結局破滅するしかなかったはず。だけどあの子は戻ってきた。いや、戻してもらえたって言った方が正しいのかな。あとは十和田がそれを力の限り後悔して、それからどうすればいいのか考えるのさ。黒沢の気持ちを無駄にしないよう一生懸命にね。
でもどんなに一生懸命に考えたって間違ったことをしたらしょうがないし、ましてや犯した罪は消えないでしょ。
そりゃそうさ。
Yeah, there's layers, Otobe. There's layers.
だけど
Oops.
自分のしたことを今度こそあの子は後悔して
I
いないだろ
slipped.
うよ。
So Nozaki-san looked away while chuckling to herself and then turned her back to us and continued walking and then...
結
Yes.
果に責任を持つってことはそういうことだ。そして最善だと信じてやった結果なんだから受け入れるしかないんだ。その末に寄り添って死ぬことを選ぶかもしれないし、自分だけでも生き残る道を選ぶかもしれない。でもそこにはもうごまかしてきた思い込みは存在しない。本当に正しい自分にとって一番の選択になると私は信じている。
What? Oh, sorry.
大切なのはどうするかじゃないんだ。自分でどれだけ真剣に悩んだかってことだよ。それが自分の選択に自分で責任を持つってことさ。
I could feel the weight behind Sonozaki-san's words. Maybe she's been living her whole life like that. What about me? Before I knew it, I was thinking about the editorial department back in Tokyo. Am I fine with things the way they are? Can I really keep up this charade as a popular writer? I finally managed to find work as an adult writer, but there's no telling if I'll be able to keep that up in the future. My success until now was largely due to Hinamizawa's interview tapes my father left behind. I can't depend on that forever. I need to accomplish something of my own merits. It's normal to jump around between various jobs, even up to around 35 years old. But sooner or later, I need to find a way of securing my future life, instead of feeling at a loss for my own personal value. This village, Hinamizawa, was the story that changed my father's life as a reporter. To be perfectly honest, I didn't come here based on some intuition. That was just nonsense I made up. Saying I wanted to find out something about my father was merely a convenient excuse. Huh. Oh, okay. In fact, I've largely exhausted all my occult material lately, and my desperation to find something new may have been a part of the reason I came to Hinamizawa. But I understood now that haphazard lifestyle is no way to live. That way of thinking is what got me into this mess. Even if the ghosts and curse were sidelined by a Yakuza conflict, this crisis might just be me suffering the consequences of my choices. Also, sorry to say, but you also did see a ghost. I feel like that's a pretty good thing to write about if you need to write about something.
龍之介さん、あれ
What is it?
なんだあれ。
Giant ghost Rita? Imagine that. I turned in the direction Miki-chan was pointing. Over there, a motorcycle was carefully hidden behind a grove of trees. I didn't notice it because it was so dark last night, but it looked like something new. It probably came from one of the people who attacked Sonozaki-san and the rest of us. And fortunately enough, the keys were still in the ignition. Yoink.
奴らはいないか。
Oh, intense music? I carefully inspected the surrounding area, then approached the motorcycle and tried to start it. Brrr.
かかった。
やった。
Is this a trap? Maybe? Everyone's faces immediately brighten up. With this, we can head straight to the Otonomiya police station. But who should go? It's a small motorcycle, so 2 passengers would be tough if we're gonna take it. 1 passenger would be the best. Sorry, I think Otome is getting yeeted from the group. Probably. In which case...
みゆきちゃん。
No shot. Muti's one. Hey, like, it has to be Arakawa or Otome, okay? Muti and Sonozaki are our only weapons. Otome and Arakawa are, like, practically useless in this situation.
はい。
これに乗って沖宮ま
I
で
mean, Miyuki is a police officer, so there's some merit to sending her to Otonomiya, because she can definitely get the cops here faster. But it's a very risky play.
そして携帯がつながる場所に来たら110番通報をしてほしいんだ。
私がちょっと待ってください。
Miyuki-chan shook her head in surprise. She never expected that I'd nominate her to go. I didn't expect it either, but when you think about it a little more, her words carry more weight, so maybe she can get help faster. But I don't know, still.
園崎さんならともかく、龍之介さんも乙部君も一般人でしょ?
Yeah, that is true. They are also the best option if you want to keep your firepower for the upcoming battle.
そんな人を危険な場所に行かせて、自分一人抜け出すわけにはいきません。乙部君か龍之介さん、どちらかが言ってください。
でも僕バイクの免許ありませんし。
True. Drive safely.
俺もない。
Does anyone know how to ride a motorcycle?
嘘ばっかり。龍之介さん、手持ちのバイクでここに来るはずだった。
Oh, did he? I forgot. You know, Arata's trying to protect Miyuki. And it's very cute, at least. Busted.
それに、もしこのバイクを使うなら、あんまり推奨はできませんが、龍之介さんと乙部君は二人乗りでこの村を出て行ってください。
Excuse me?
その方が安全だし、正直一緒にいても足手まといです。
Not wrong. We can be bullet bait.
あんたもそんなに変わらないと思うがね。
Once Sonozaki-san pointed that out, Miyuki-chan let out a sigh, and after last night, it was abundantly clear why she didn't want her sticking around.
みゆきちゃん。今手持ち
Oh,
そんなにない。
it's true. She did shoot a lot of people.
昨日残弾を数えててため息をついていたじゃないか。
I still think she's more useful than you guys, and even in a hand-to-hand combat, because her father is Karate Master Akasaka, a literal god of combat.
でも、
Man, 1v like 30, a bunch of trained mercenaries with his bare fists.
少なくともあんたが今から取り押さえようと考えている相手は。
Why are you arguing about sending Miyuki away, man? She's definitely more useful combat-wise, but I think she can bring reinforcements faster, so it's probably a good thing.
そんなことくらい組対4課のあんたなら十分承知済みだろ。勇ましい正義感は結構だがね。自殺が
Over these two?
それを
Yeah.
この二人にも言うべきじゃない。
Well, she wants to keep Otome around. He's like a good luck charm because he's Satoshi Light. But Miki-chan refused to back down. To be honest, I really appreciated her show of spirit, But even so, we shouldn't be arguing here. We had no time to waste.
時間がないんだ。俺たちは園崎さんと一緒に行く。それに俺の調査だとこの村からの脱出路が園崎本家にあるはずなんだ。
That is true. We've never actually seen it used, but it's the well, and if you go out the back, you can there's like a way into the mountains. They never used that though, right? They were thinking about using it, but then Rita got captured and then immediately saved by Atasata, and then they all just like met up and left. Like literally like the minute after that whole dramatic speech, Atasata's just like, hey yo, and just beat the shit out of them.
でしょ
あ
Just don't fall, Shion.
ただその道を使えば園崎さんも待ち構えてる連中を取り逃がすことになる。だからみゆきちゃんには警察の応援を呼んできてもらいたいんだ。奴らを捕まえることがみゆきちゃんの本来の任務なんだろ。
龍之介さん
Miyuki-chan was still hesitating to give me an answer. Even if we took the motorcycle out of the village, we would still run into an enemy patrol party. There's no guarantee that we'd be able to escape safely. But the odds of survival are better if you travel to the Sonozaki main house together, and it's something we can do to give us all hope. If we can just buy some time, the police will come to save us. I can believe in that. I believe in that too. That'll be the final thing. Plus, if Miyuki-chan can call in reinforcements from Otonomiya, she'll be able to hold down the scene and collect necessary evidence. Even in the worst case, they'll be able to cut off our retreat. It seemed like a reasonable argument to me, but there was no way I could put it all into words.
園崎家の庭に隠し通路がある。そこからなら奴らに見つからずに村の外へ出られるよ。ミオンさんは決まってるだろ。私は決着をつけるよ。警察が来る来ないを別にしてね。
In other words, she was prepared to issue them a challenge right here and now.
みゆきちゃん早く
Get the fuck out of here.
僕たちなら大丈夫ですから。応援待ってます。
わかりました。1秒でも早く連れてきますから。みんな無理しないで。
Don't die. Miyuki-chan finally seemed to reach a decision. She straddled the motorcycle, then looked back to us and lightly nodded. I gave her a strong nod in response, and then she flew down the mountain road at full speed.
ねえ荒川。
はい。
なんであんたが園崎本家にある抜け道のことを知ってるんだい？
We got Daddy's notes.
というか本当にあるんですか。あ、よかった。
はあ？
Pissed Shion? First time? Sonozaki-san's eyes opened wide as soon as she heard that, although even I was surprised to hear her confirm it.
大した玉だよあんた。
Who was just bluffing?
とりあえず時間もない。行こうかね。
Inspired by Mion's declaration, we all started walking again. Was that the first time she sincerely praised me? Feels good. The scenery in the bright daylight looked completely different than it did in the middle of the night. The trees that seemed to go on endlessly in the dark back then were instead lush, green, and gently swaying in the wind. Before long, Otobe let out a heavy sigh as we reached a road halfway up to the mountain. We all looked pale from our lack of sleep, but Otobe's face looked particularly bad.
乙部大丈夫か。
はい。
Ever since we left the assembly hall, Otobe has been walking with an expression that looked like something was on his mind. Thinking back on it, that's right, it started around the same time we were descending the stone steps right after Sonozaki-san spoke about Tawada-san.
大切なのは
Yeah,
どうするかじゃない。
it does apply to Otobe too.
自分でどれだけ真剣に悩んだかってことだよ。それが自分の選択に自分で責任を持つってことさ。
As Otobe listened to that, he gasped and his eyes opened wide like he had realized something. Something about those words has resonated deep within him. But if there's one thing I can say, it's that his face is far more earnest this morning than it did last night. Eventually, we reached a bend in the road with one white car parked in front of us. At first glance, it seemed like an ordinary passenger car. However, something about its shape looked familiar. Oh my god, is this the suicide car? Are we going to see the ghosts, man? I'm ready. I'm ready for some emotional shit. I caught my breath. That's right, I remember. The windows were wrapped in duct tape, and there were 3 dead people inside who looked like they were sleeping. This was the car we found when we first arrived, with the bodies of the 3 suicide victims. It's your chance, Otobe, to speak to the ghosts. Otobe bit his lip and rushed over to the car. Then he stepped over the duct tape that had fallen to the ground and opened the rear passenger door. I smashed the window yesterday, so there's no longer any traces of carbon monoxide. Nevertheless, the ashes of the thoroughly burned charcoal flew into the air as soon as he opened the door, and I frowned as soon as the peculiar odor reached my nose. Immediately as the music comes on, I feel sad. It's Otobe's time for resolution. Otobe looked at each of their faces one by one. I see, so those are their names. I looked them over once more, but they'll never move again. They looked so peaceful, as if they were just sleeping. But one never sees smiles on their faces, like they had when they came to this village. Before long, Otobe had been silently watching the 3 of them just like me, but then he slowly opened his mouth.
心のどこかできっと甘く考えていたのかもしれません。自分は自殺した人の懐からカードを盗んだだけのコソ泥で、十和田さんの殺人に比べたら
It's definitely less severe. It's still like without the contents of Otobe's backstory. It sounds so fucked up though.
でもミオンさんの言葉を聞いて思いました。一生懸命という尺度で考えたら、罪の重さとかでは測れない何かがあるんじゃないかって。みんな一生懸命に生きてきた。あがいてあがいて、どうしようもないほど悩んで苦しんで、その結果十和田さんは恋人を殺した。そして彼らは自分を殺した。
Making an earnest effort to live a proper life was what drove Tawada-san to murder. Living a careless lifestyle and taking on debts that can never be repaid ultimately made Otobe contemplate suicide. It seems foolish to even consider comparing the 2 of them, but it's no simple task to decide which sin is heavier. Indeed, Otobe was still relying on the others even as he was approaching death. He didn't have the courage to die alone. Unlike Tawada-san, who was racked with guilt, even as she was consumed by despair, he was going to live comfortably. That fact probably made Otobe evaluate the weight of his sins. Otobe had a serious look on his face as he pulled the cash card out of his pocket.
僕はみんなとは覚悟が違っていました。 みんなは悲壮な覚悟で自殺をしに来たっていうのに、僕は人と一緒にどこかへ行くことが嬉しくて、ここにいるのはみんな僕と同じようにどん詰まりの人たちで、不謹慎にも嬉しくて。
Everyone was heading there to die, but it felt completely different for me. I simply wasn't prepared to die. So when I saw that cash card, when I realized I could start my life over, I jumped at it right away. I allowed them to continue down the road to death, and then I ran away alone. How shallow. In the end, I was just looking for an easy, comfortable life. I couldn't even find a cute girlfriend on my own. I thought your girlfriend was pretty cute, even if she was a bitch. Oh, my coworkers had to introduce me to someone, so he didn't find her alone. Nevertheless, after she was gone, I hated my coworkers for introducing me to her. How dare you introduce me to a girl like that? I felt bitter, like they were looking down on me for getting so fired up over a girl of that caliber. No matter how much my parents cheered me on, I resented that they only looked on from afar, unwilling to understand my suffering.
そうやって僕は人のせいばかりにして生きてきました。
おいおい、あんまり自分をいじめんなよ。
いえ、いいんです。いじめてなんかいません。僕は今自分に向き合っているんです。
Otobe looked like he was about to burst into tears, but it wasn't like the miserable weeping he did last night. It felt like he was prepared to confront himself.
借金地獄に陥るほど浪費を重ねたのだって僕が弱かったからです。田舎でいじめられていた劣等感をなんとか跳ね返したかった。僕を嘲笑う世間の連中全員を見返してやりたかった。でも結局僕はそんな劣等感につけ込まれてサラ金の餌食になって、ほんとバカです。僕は世間の悪党どもにしゃぶり尽くされて、泣いて呪って人を恨んで、そして自ら死んで逃げ出すところだった。
As Otobe pinched those words out, he placed the stolen cash card in Chiaki-san's hand and squeezed it tight.
これは
But he needs the money, dude.
稼いだ金じゃない。
He's like I said it before, dude. His situation's literally impossible. He needed a miracle. So, as fucked up as it is, like he's not gonna earn the money back without taking the card.
これは返します。
お前、借金はどうするつもりだよ。
Yeah.
いいんです。僕は浅はかでした。浮ついた夢を探して、いつも自分の人生がうまくいかないのを誰かのせいにして、学校の勉強はそれなりによくできた。学校では先生からはおとなしくてよくできる子だって言われてきました。いつも誰かに褒められるようないい子でいるために、僕は自分で自分を主張することを封印してきました。だから僕はいつもイライラしていた。こんなところでくすぶっている人間じゃないなんて思い上がったりして。でも人の期待を裏切る勇気なんかなくて、確実に成功できそうなことを探しているうちに自分を見失ってしまった。
In hindsight, he realized the act of thinking only in terms of success was arrogant and cowardly way of living. Mustering all your strength on something and trying your best when the result is uncertain. Not giving up until you discover your own limits. One cannot possibly hope to discover their true dreams and capabilities without putting in that effort.
つくづく僕はバカです。僕はこれから自分の人生を取り戻したい。僕は一生懸命に生きていこうって決めました。僕は目の前の現実に立ち向かっていこうと思います。どんなに絶望的な状況でも、どんなにどうしようもなくても、生きてもがいていれば、きっと道は開けると信じます。
I respect the resolve for sure, man. You know, in face of an impossible situation, he's going head first. Of course, there's a lot to be anxious about. There's no way to repay millions in debt. Even with the help of my parents back in the countryside, I wouldn't be able to repay that kind of money, not to mention the feud with my parents was never really resolved. If I return home from Tokyo and confess I've accumulated a mountain of debts, their faces would twist and they'd beat me crying. They'd kick me out of the house. But even so, I have to start from there. The odds are terrible, close to zero, but I'm reaping what I sowed. If Tomoda-san's guilt is a cross I have to bear moving forward, then I need to carry the weight of my past in order to atone for it. And now, at last, I'll be able to get back on the proper path. Otobe knelt down on the ground and then...
芥川さん、マチちゃん、千秋さん、死に急ぐあなたたちを止めればよかった。一人いい加減な気持ちでこんなところへやってきて、僕だけ逃げ出して、おまけに死んでいくあなたたちを見殺しにして、盗みまで働いて、すみませんでした。愚かで弱い僕をどうか許してください。
He sincerely lowered his head all the way down to the muddy soil. So Nozaki-san and I could only watch as Otobe remained like that. Religious teachings state that the soul of those who commit suicide can never find peace. Even if that's just superstition, throwing away the life that your parents gave you is something that should never be done no matter the reason. What parent has no aspirations for the child they gave birth to? What parent doesn't feel the joy of watching their child grow up? People can't survive on their own. And at the same time, there's no reason for people to live alone. You can't turn your back on the hopes, dreams, and expectations of others. It doesn't take long to decide on the right path and keep walking. That's why you have to see it all the way to the end. Otherwise, what's the meaning of being born into this world?
Otobe.
I didn't pity him, nor did I admire him. And that's because I'm just like him. Even though I overstate how successful I am, I deluded myself into thinking my way of life was mine alone, being lazy and letting the flow of life push me around. After all this time, I finally realized it. Right here, right now, I'm just like Otobe, and is that why you're so pissy at him all the time? The next moment, ghosts! Oh my god. I mean, I was saying, I thought, like, when the flashback happened for Otobe's backstory, I was saying, like, if Otobe just said his problems, they might have been, like, they might have even offered him the money if because they were resolute on killing themselves. It's not like Otobe could have taught them out of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they offered him the cash card. Ghosts. I feel like I heard a soft, gentle woman's voice. And so Otobe seemed to hear it too. He clung to the body of Chiaki-san in the back seat. Could this be another voice of the dead?
いいのよ、乙部君。このお金があなたの役に立つのなら、 持って行ってもいい。それであなたの生きる気力になるのだとしたら嬉しいわ。
The lips of the dead woman in the backseat were not moving, but just like with Kurosawa earlier, the voice seemed to echo inside my head. It really did feel like I could hear her voice.
私もきっと夫もそのことを咎めたりはしない。だから気にしないでもいいのよ。
千秋さん。
黙っていればいいの。誰も咎めやしないのだから。私たちの全財産持って行って。これはあなたにあげるわ。
Otobe hesitantly stared at the cash card for a while, but eventually he tightened his lips and nodded his head. Then he reached out and squeezed Chiaki-san's hand holding the cash card.
ありがとうございます。千秋さん。でも、僕には必要ありません。
You really fucking need it. You really need it. I respect his resolve, but he really fucking needs it. His situation is literally impossible. You're literally going to die, and then your organs sold on the black market without it. Not wrong. Not wrong.
でも僕はそういう人間なんです。まずそのことを認めないと。
You can't change your tone as soon as something convenient comes around. And if you want to overcome your weaknesses, you have to put in the effort without giving in to despair. That's the kind of person I want to become right here, right now. If I take this money right here, I'm sure nothing will change. I'm sure someone will help me. It's only a matter of time until my luck turns around, so I just have to wait. Somewhere in my heart, I believed in that. The time has come to stop thinking like that. From now on, I need to be stronger. You need it, brother. I'm sorry, I agree with everything you're saying, but you still need it. You're gonna die! Yo, Sonozaki! Shion, hook him up with some money, dude. Hook him up with some Yakuza protection. He needs it. Although Otobe spoke softly, every last word he said was full of resolve. Chiaki-san's voice sounded a little disappointed, but even more than that, it was wrapped in a gentle warmth. Otobe squeezed Chiaki-san's hand, but her face didn't move at all. Oh, well, that kind of hurts.
自分に対するごまかしだったのかもね。一人で生きていく自信がないだけだったのかも。一生懸命に生きる道を探せばよかった。みんなで自殺をしに来た時、本当はね、仲間がいるってこと。ずいぶん長い。
Hey, similar feelings to Otobe.
誰にも相談できる人もいなくて、辛くて。苦しくて早く楽になりたかった。楽しそうに生きている人を見るたび、どうして私だけがこんな辛い人生を歩かなくちゃならないんだろうって思った。でも人生なんて辛くて当たり前なのよね。それをどんな風にして乗り越えていったかでしか人生の価値なんて測れないもの。生きているうちにあなたとこういう話をしたかったな。
千秋さん、すみません。
Otobe deeply bowed his head. In the end, it was just like Tawada-san, refusing to consider anything outside your own arbitrary assumptions and ultimately leading to a sad ending. Everyone's saying bye. I turned toward Akutagawa's body in the driver's seat. He was an aging man with traces of gray hair and deep wrinkles from enduring trying experiences.
何をやってもうまくいかないこと続きで、ずるいことをして人を出し抜いたり、人を平気で裏切ったり傷つけたりするような連中ばかりがのし上がって、人間ってものにほとほと絶望していたけれど、君みたいな若者もいたんだな。別れた妻や子供ともう一度くらい僕は人生を諦めて逃げ出してしまったけれど、どんな理由であれ自殺を思いとどまった君に頑張れって言わせてくれ。
芥川さん。
乙部くん、頑張ってね。乙部くん、
Machiko!
頑張って。
乙部君、頑張れ。
千秋さん、まちちゃん、芥川さん、ありがとう。僕は行きます。
Good luck, brother. Otobe closed the car door and lowered his head once again with his eyes full of tears. Sonozaki-san gently patted him on the shoulder while giving him a comforting smile.
人生は歯磨き粉のチューブみたいなもんさ。
Words of wisdom? Just end the quote there and walk away.
ミオンさん。
That would be hilarious.
チューブの最後のひとひねりまで使い切ってこそ。
That's true. I wish I was that dutiful on my toothpaste squeezing duty, to be honest. I know I waste some of it, for sure. Her voice resounded heavily inside my heart. Struggling to find the right thing to do is part of life. If you want to live strictly according to right and wrong, or if you want to live according to some concrete plan, you have the freedom to choose either way. And if you don't, if you don't always get your way, that's life. Success and failure don't matter as long as you're walking down the path that you decided. That's more important than if you earn a living or not, or if it's a stable life. It's meaningless to judge people according to arbitrary values and label them winners and losers. Honestly, great lines. I agree. I won't lose my focus. I won't lose my way focusing on appearances or self-interest. I just need to keep walking forward on the path my heart dictates.
荒川。
Sonozaki-san turned to face me, her face seemed to say, you too.
一生懸命に生きな。生の限り。
Oh my god. Dude, it's been so inspirational. With ever since last episode, with all the ghost talk, people are like just moving on as a person and growing from it. You love to see it. I raised my head. The mountain peaks all around me had a beautiful blue hue. The road that stretched in front of me felt like it led on to a bright future. Perfect. I was gonna end after, anyways. You can end it for me to make it clean as fuck. That was a great chapter. This last part of this arc has been crazy good. Crazy good. Actually amazing. Anyways, guys, we're gonna end here. Hopefully you enjoyed Otobe's character arc conclusion, basically. And next time, we'll head to the final showdown in the Sonozaki household. Until then, thanks for watching, hopefully enjoyed, and see you next time on Higurashi Console Arts. Peace.